have another big round of applause for Sarah Dave. Next guest needs absolutely no introduction. His team have been travelling up and down this country, standing up to councils both local and national in a tireless effort to say no to the new normal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Piers, corbyn!
Thank you very much. Well, hello. Are we in good voice? Fantastic. Well, I'm here from stopnewnormal.net, but I'm part of our movement. And our movement is fighting now to build the biggest demonstration you've ever seen in London on the 26th of this month. And you are going to be there. Now, I just want to say where I've been these last few days. Since September the 5th, I've been in Sheffield, Cardiff, Birmingham, Leicester, Liverpool, Downing Street and Truro. And in Truro, we had the biggest demonstration they've ever seen in Truro. And then last night I was on Camelot TV on an amazing interview which you should stream everywhere. And all this is only possible because of people turning up like you and our team. My team, and I want to thank specifically my team standing in front of us. Here we have Tony, who's been driving. He hasn't broken many speed limits. And Sonia and Marco here. And there's probably others around. But anyway, Diane is here somewhere. Anyway, they've done fantastically sterling, unremitting work, which has got where we are now. And we are, and I want to thank them. Quick round of applause. Thank you very much. We are now getting our message across, and the turnouts are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Our message is twofold. One, there's no justification whatsoever for any of these lockdowns and anti-virus measures. And the contagion, fear, control games are not to control a virus, but they are there to control you. Now, I want to tell you about something which happened here in 1703. In 1703, a great tempest destroyed Portsmouth. Portsmouth and the whole of southern England was damaged. This event, which is an escaped tropical storm, was followed in the churches all over the south of England every year by prayers. Prayers which the bishop said we had to say in order to seek forgiveness for the sins which had caused God to send the storm. And of course, the bishops used these things to control. And this went on for decades. And we have other examples in history of where bishops or MPs or whatever use these natural or fake events to control. We know that the Incas and Mayas, for example, in Mexico and South America, used to sacrifice virgins every spring because they were told by their bishops, you have to do that in order to make sure the spring comes in as a good summer. They did it every year, and the spring and summer came, proving it was true. That is the situation we are in now. We have more incantations and rituals around fiction, and as you carry them on long enough, you might start believing they're true. I mean, I know people who say, I'm wearing a mask, that's why I haven't got COVID. And I say, well, I'm very well as well, and that's because I'm not wearing a mask. So, you know, if you want to choose your false narrative, you can carry on believing it, especially when you have the BBC telling you it's true all the time. So, take down the BBC! Right now, we have, of course, talk of the second lockdown. Oh, sorry, no. Well, yes, indeed. But the second wave is coming. Well, how do they know this unknown virus is suddenly going to have a second wave? They make it up. Now, we know this one. What have we got with this one? We know it's not a high-consequence infectious disease. They even admitted that in March. We know that the illness and death rate is like a tenth of most flus. A tenth. In 1957, we know, there was a big flu epidemic, a serious one. And we know there were no lockdowns or nothing, and the British economy soldiered on and got through it within 2 months. So what is this all about? Well, it's clearly not to help us. And you see, what they have is an excuse for lockdowns, trashing the economy, destroying the NHS, privatising the NHS, which has now been stolen from us, locking up people into old people's homes and not helping them, and the death rate in care homes is an utter disgrace and monstrosity. We have the schools where children are now being, well, mentally traumatised and tyrannised. It is an utter, total disgrace, because the schools even say, the government says, oh, children aren't going to get it. Children aren't going to get it, so why are you torturing them now? We have an increase in suicides from doctors. But doubtless those will be recorded as death from COVID. Whether death from COVID fear, actually, death from brainwashing. So, in fact, the measures they impose are more harmful than the supposed disease itself. Which proves there is another agenda. And the other agenda is, of course, to change the world into something different. Something where the mega corporations rule completely. Your democracy goes. We have a technocratic tyranny worldwide, some world government, and living standards of the middle classes, and, well, everybody goes down and down and down. So we have a new meaning to no one is left behind. What it means is everyone will be left behind apart from the super mega corporations and the super rich. And as a matter of fact, the net wealth of Bill Gates of hell as he's known in some circles, that might get us cut off YouTube by the way, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg and Bezos, their net worth has increased in the last few months in lockdown by 150 billion pounds. That is 20 quid for every man, woman and child in the world. In the whole world. That is direct theft from you and your family. And of course, these handouts to them from governments, of course, that's what it amounts to, or increase of value because the governments are going to sell these evil vaccinations. We're told by the World Economic Forum it's got to be paid back. It wasn't something Boris announced when he said you're going on furlough. It's got to be paid back, which means they've got to force down living standards. That is what's going on now. That's why in Australia we have a neo-fascism. That is what's going to come here unless we stop it. We're not going to allow it, yes. So let's have a look at these actual measures. What are they doing? We know as a fact that, and you can see it on our new super duper coloured leaflet, which I have here, somebody's giving them out, that lockdowns don't work. We know in Sweden less people died in their own terms than in places like here where we had a lockdown. We know that a mask doesn't work. See that fence? Well, if I can see a fence anywhere. Anywhere there's a fence. Ask yourself, will a fly be able to get through that fence? The answer is yes. Just like any virus can pass through a mask. On the box of masks, if you're stupid enough to buy them, it says this will not protect you from any virus. It tells you on the tin, don't buy it. Are you stupid or not? No, you're not. But the government is making people stupid to buy these things or give them. We're told to socially distance, or just distance, it's anti-social distancing. Because, there's a virus there, you might have it, get away. Well, in reality, of course, doctors have pointed out that you need to be close to people in order to improve your immune system, feel happy and joyous, and that it does improve your immune system. So my answer to that is we shouldn't be distancing, we should be hugging against the COVID con. And I want you to do this now. Hug your neighbour now, with permission. Hug now, hug against the COVID con now. We done enough hugging? You should hug in groups of 7, I suggest. Only 7's hugging. There's a 7 over there, you could hug. Okay. Well, are you feeling better now? Fantastic. So it proves it. Boris, are you listening? Hugs against COVID con helps people. But you see, just look at what we are being played. Now, is there an actual virus anyway? An actual high consequence, dangerous virus which is killing people? Well, we know something weird happened in China, but it might not have been anything to do with what's happening here. It might have been 5G directed at people killing them. It might well have been a genetic modification of coronavirus as an experimental thing which killed people. But that is clearly died out if it was there, because people are not dying at any significant rate. So what have people been dying of? Well, first of all, they've been dying of false labels, i.e. they haven't been dying of this, they've been just dying and then they're labelled COVID. Or there's an old flu around which has been around 46 years, as an Edinburgh doctor pointed out. Or of course 5G and 4G does damage your immune system. And as a statistical fact, in places where 5G was turned on most and first, they had more COVID symptoms. So that is another factor, which when we talk about that, they say, oh, conspiracy theory. But it is actually a registered statistical fact. Anyway, is there an actual virus? Well, we asked Boris to prove it. Saying, okay, we wrote a letter saying you've got to prove there's a virus, or we're going to believe there's none. And we gave him a certain amount of time, we're giving him to September the 5th. Well, they've got to show that there's a virus by finding it, growing it in a test tube, injecting it in an animal that has to get the symptoms, and if it gets the symptoms, then you know it's the virus, and then you can develop a vaccination. However, the World Health Organization said, don't do it! Do not isolate the virus, but we're going to find a vaccine. Now, this is insane. They are taking the piss. It's utter, complete bullshit and nonsense. And then, of course, the leading institutions which are being handed largesse from Mr. William Gates Esquire, so they found it. They found the thing they were told not to look for. And by finding it, they say, oh, we've seen a bit of DNA or RNA in a dish, and we believe that's it, because it came from somebody who had it. Well, I can tell you that this argument is bananas. Now, what I mean by that is the idea that this DNA or RNA is the virus is like saying, an Agatha Christie novel, we've got to show, maybe find out there's a man in the room. So I look around in the room and there's no evidence of a man, but I see a banana. And I say, yes, that banana is 60% the same DNA as a human. Therefore we have evidence of a man in the room. It is nonsense. And they are tricking us. They're not just brainwashing us though, there's a bigger brainwashing going on of members of Parliament. That is a 24/7 lie box. Any member of Parliament who wants to know more facts is given somebody who just lies to them and gives these phony reports. However, well, what are we going to do about that? Well, first of all, we've got to write more and more to our MPs. And I'm going to ask you, who has actually written to their MP? Hands up. A fair number. Who will write to their MP within the next 3 days? Hands up those, yes. And who has or will write to their MPs within the next 3 days? Hands up, please. Yes, okay, do it. You carry on stopnewnormal.net, we'll save our rights, etc. And you'll find the basic letter, copy it out, just highlight it, and put in the MP's address, which is easily available on another button. And they do actually listen to letters for a while, and we've noticed some changes happening in Parliament, which I'm going to mention in a second. But let's have a look at the latest. On the 16th of this month, there were supposed 16 COVID deaths. The 17th were 4, yes, the 18th was 27. But it also says in the government report that the actual cause of death might not be COVID-19. It might be nothing. They might have just died. They might have been old. It's a pack of lies being shoveled upon us.
And there is growing dissent in the political parties, mostly at this point in time in the piers who have said they're worried about loss of freedoms. And we're hoping to get some of these along in Trafalgar Square next Saturday. But what is going on in the Labour Party and the trade union movement,
I have to ask myself. A few months ago, they were denouncing Boris Johnson as far right. Now, the Labour Party and the trade unions are killing far-right Boris Johnson, and it's a total disgrace! What we have is, in fact, more job losses coming along. We know that in the 1930s, the trade union movement tailed Hitler, and we know what happened. The rest is history. But just as then as now, Hitler was using contagion fear to coerce people. Those trade union leaders ended up murdered in the night of the long knives on the 30th of June 1934. No, Boris isn't going to kill anybody like that. But he doesn't need to, because the workforce is being destroyed and the jobs promised will not come back. So, the Labour movement has to wake up and stop betraying us. The Labour Party has to stop betraying us, or no one is going to vote for them again. Now, when I say these things, of course we're called it a conspiracy theory and so forth, but I would point out that, in fact, yesterday's conspiracy theory, what we were told that we can't say about vaccines. Bill Gates wants to vaccinate the world. Conspiracy theory, said the Daily Mail. Well, we know it's now true. Yesterday's conspiracy theory is today's truth. And what we have now, under the brainwashing going on, is basically, I would say, most MPs are fools clamouring for an experimental vaccination to save us from a hoax. And we say no. And the powers that be are now getting a bit desperate because we have been mobilising so much support. In Sheffield, as you know, I was arrested after the third police attempt. But then a few days later, although they'd given me bail conditions of not going to any COVID demonstration anywhere in the United Kingdom until the 3rd of November, but I still went to Cardiff a few days later, by the way. But after that,
the Crown Prosecution Service found my solicitor when he was on the train in the way to Sheffield and said, don't worry, you needn't come, you needn't argue the case, we're going to drop all the bail conditions